Today we are going to talk about gross structure of cell, that is in detail various components of cell in plants and animals, both the eukaryotic type of cells. So let us begin with. So first of all, let us talk about animal cell and let us see what are the different structures which are there in animal cells. Now the first and foremost structure, that is cell membrane, is present. Every cell contains a cell membrane, the externalmost covering, and in this case it is plasma membrane or also known as cell membrane in case of animals. It contains a dense cytoplasm, a liquid in which various type of organic inorganic materials are there, as well as all the cell organelles are suspended in the cell cytoplasm. Two types of endoplasmic reticulums are there: smooth endoplasmic reticulum and rough endoplasmic reticulum. It is based upon the presence or absence of ribosomes. Mitochondria, powerhouse of a cell, generates ATP energy. Golgi bodies, a kind of packaging factories for the cell. Centrioles, lysosomes, and some other inclusion bodies in the cytoplasm. So this is how a typical animal cell is made up of. Now, talking about plant cells, almost covered by externalmost covering known as cell wall, and then second layer is called as cell membrane, that is nothing but the plasma membrane. Then again there is a cytoplasm, presence of large central vacuole and eccentric nucleus. So the nucleus is shifted little bit to the side, eccentric nucleus. Golgi body, smooth endoplasmic reticulum, rough endoplasmic reticulum, both are there. And the important part of the plant cell are chloroplasts. So you can see number of chloroplasts. Okay, now let us discuss the important components of cell in detail. Gross structure of cell and the three essential parts. So the three essential parts we are going to talk about is cell membrane, cytoplasm, and nucleus. So let us discuss about cell membrane. Cell membrane or plasma membrane encircles the cell. It is a living membrane and having fine pores. Okay, so cell membrane is a living one and it has a fine pores through which some import and export of material takes place. It is made up of lipoproteins. Lipids and proteins are the components. It provides flexibility to the cell. First of all, it is a protective one and provides flexibility to the cell. Talking about its nature, it is semi-permeable, also called as selectively permeable or differentially permeable, meaning it allows only certain substances to pass through while preventing other. So whatever essential substances are there, micromolecular size, they are allowed to enter the cell or they are allowed to exit the cell, and others which are non-essential for the cell are not supposed to be permeable. Thus it is known as semi-permeable. In plant cell, in addition to the outermost non-living layer called the cell wall surrounds the cell membrane. Cell wall is non-living, is hard, tough. The cell wall is a non-living membrane. It is mostly made up of cellulose. So mostly it is made up of cellulose, and in addition to cellulose, sometimes there will be presence of pectin, lignin, and other cell components. So cellulose is the main component. It gives a definite shape and rigidity to the cell. So talking about the function, it gives definite shape to the cell. So there will be rectangular or polygonal or hexagonal cells in plants. So the shape is maintained with the help of this cell wall, and they are quite rigid, provide strength to the plant cells. It is freely permeable, allowing substances in solution to enter and leave the cell without hindrance. Okay, it is freely permeable. Mostly the transport of water molecules along with some minerals takes place from surrounding medium to the across the cell wall freely. Okay. Next is cytoplasm. It is the part of the cell which is inside the cell membrane and outside the nucleus. Okay, so the region between the cell membrane and nucleus is filled with cytoplasm. It is a semi-liquid substance. You may call it a semi-liquid or semi-solid jelly-like substance. Many chemical reactions catalyzed by enzymes occur in it. Now, the cell is going to perform various activities by means of chemical reactions, where various convergence of materials takes place. So all these chemical reactions are takes place at the same pH and same temperature level inside the cell by means of enzymes. So various cell organelles concerned with the particular functions are present in cell. The part of cytoplasm other than organelles, mitochondria, chloroplast, etc., is called cytosol, which constitute mainly the liquid medium. The part of cytoplasm other than organelle is known as cytosol. Nucleus. It is a large spherical body lying nearly in the center of the cytoplasm most of the time. But sometimes, as we have seen in case of plant cells, the nucleus become eccentric. There are two nuclear membranes, inner membrane, outer membrane, and it is provided with number of nuclear pores. So these nuclear pores are going to play important role in transport of material in and out of the nucleus. Inside the nucleus, there will be a fluid known as nucleoplasm, which is similar to that of cytoplasm but has some different properties than that of cytoplasm, nucleoplasm. Then one circular, dense, highly strained body, means which generally absorb more stain color at the time of staining, nucleolus. Chromatin network, that is the DNA in the form of chromatin network and some proteins you can see over here. This is how the nucleus is composed of. The nucleoplasm contain a network of dense colored chromatin fibers. These chromatin fibers condense into a short thick bodies called chromosomes during the cell division. Okay, as you can see in this diagram, a cell membrane and a nuclear membrane is there, and the centrioles are going to divide, separate from each other, and show presence of aster, that is some spindle fibers given out of them, as well as the new chromatin network is now condensed into the chromosomes. So at the time of cell division only the chromosomes are formed, and as soon as the cell division completed, the chromosomes again converted back into the chromatin network. Now let us talk about various parts of the cells with their characteristics and their important functions. We have seen already cell membrane, cell wall and nucleus. So let us simply skip this thing. So let us begin with endoplasmic reticulum. The main characteristics of endoplasmic reticulum: irregular network of double membrane tubules. It is continuous with the plasma membrane on the other outside and nuclear membrane on the inside. Okay, so it is a continuous layer made up of various channels, tubules, and externally it is connected with the plasma membrane, whereas internally it is connected with the nuclear membrane at the site of nuclear pore. Maybe smooth endoplasmic reticulum, that is SER, that is without ribosomes, or rough endoplasmic reticulum, that is RER with ribosomes attached. The chief functions of the endoplasmic reticulum is to support the cell framework, then synthesis and transport of proteins and fats. Mitochondria of various shapes but usually sausage like. So you know a very typical shape of mitochondria, sausage like, double walled, inner wall thrown into a folds known as cristae, and outermost layer is simply is in a continuous manner, have their own DNA containing several genes. So having a DNA, the mitochondria are able to divide on themselves as per the requirement of energy by the cell. So that is also known as semi-autonomous uh, organelle of a cell. Mitochondria in animals and chloroplast in plant cells show presence of their own DNA. They also contain their own ribosomes and can synthesize a specific type of proteins. These are the features. The main functions of mitochondria are: one, release of energy from pyruvic acid and produced in cytoplasm in the form of ATP. Seat of cellular aerobic respiration and stores energy. That is the site for the cellular aerobic respiration. So first of all, the glucose is broken down into pyruvic acids, two molecules of pyruvic acid in the cytoplasm, and then pyruvic acid enters the mitochondria, where the ATP is produced and actual aerobic respiration takes place. That is the second part of respiration. Synthesis of respiratory enzymes also takes place by means of mitochondria. Known as Golgi bodies in animal cells and are called dictyosomes in plant cells. The main characters are a stack of flattened membrane sacs. It contains flat sacs which are internally connected with each other, consist of tubules called cisternae, vesicles and vacuoles too. The main function of Golgi bodies is to synthesize and secrete various type of enzymes and hormones. Second, formation of acrosome of a sperm only in animal cells with the help of Golgi apparatus. Ribosomes. These are small granules either scattered in the cytoplasm or attached to the outside of endoplasmic reticulum. They are single-walled, dense, spherical bodies composed mainly of RNA and some proteins. Okay, so the ribosomes contain RNA as well as protein, and the main function is to synthesize various type of proteins. Protein synthesis, a very important activities going on inside the cell, protein synthesis. Next, lysosomes. The main characters are, again, they are membranous sac bud off from the Golgi bodies, a single membrane sac, contain 40 different type of enzymes, which is basically synthesized by the Golgi body. So these are transport mediums inside the cell. The chief functions are intracellular digestion. As they contain various type of enzymes, they involved in the intracellular digestion, that is destruction of various cells, organelles or other components which are present in the cytoplasm. They destroy foreign substances entering the cell cytoplasm. When cell is old or injured, these rapidly destroy organelles, hence called suicide bags. So this is again one of the important function of a cell, that is they can destroy themselves using lysosomes or the powerful enzymes of the lysosomes, so that the cell which is injured or old, if the DNA is damaged, then there are chances that the cell may convert into cancer cell. So the destruction of such kind of cells is very important for the protection of the body. Digest cartilage during the formation of bones. This is another important function. So cartilage or any other organelles or organic material is there that is being digested with the help of lysosomes inside the cell. Centrosomes, present exclusively in animal cells. Centrosomes. Characters are a region surrounding the centriole located near nucleus. Contain one or two centrioles. Centrioles are surrounded by microtubules. Functions: initiate and regulate cell division. The process of cell division where chromosomes are being produced, so they are going to be pulled apart by means of spindle fibers. Form spindle fibers with the help of aster. As you can see over here, the radiating spindle fibers are known as astral rays, and various spindle fibers are being produced, some of them connected with the chromosomes so as to pull them apart, exclusively present in animal cells and being absent in plant cells. So the process of cell division in plant is quite different, that we will discuss in the another lectures. Next, plastids, present only in plant cells. The main characters, they are of several kinds. Most common one are chloroplast, containing the type green pigment called chlorophyll. So you know there are three types of plastids: chloroplast, chromoplast, and leucoplast. Here, chloroplast are double membrane proteinaceous matrix and containing DNA. These are disc-like structures called thylakoids containing chlorophyll, which is actually a green colored pigment. Okay, again they are of double membrane structures inside the cell. Talking about the main functions of chloroplast, they are green in color, trap solar energy for the photosynthesis, contain the pigment called chlorophyll. Leucoplasts are colorless, store starch, and have no pigment. Chromoplasts are variously colored and impart color to flowers and fruits, containing the pigment xanthophyll, which are yellow colored pigment, carotene, orange and red pigments. They also indirectly helps in pollination by attracting different pollinators, which then help disperse the seeds. Next one is nucleus, the largest cell organelle, mostly spherical and dense bodies. Nuclear membrane with pore to allow substances to enter and live. Contain network of thread-like structures called chromatin fibers, which contain DNA. The main function of the nucleus: regulate cell functions. If removed, the cell dies. Okay, so the presence of nucleus is very important, as is it going to control various cellular activities and the functions of other organelles by means of sending some message from nucleus to the cytoplasm. Contain chromosomes, bearer of the genes that control hereditary characters. So chromosomes contain DNA. DNA is important for a cell to perform its daily regular activities: synthesis of various proteins, various enzymes, degradation of material, internal transport mechanism, everything is controlled by means of chromosome or DNA, and they again serve as a hereditary material that can be transferred from one cell to the next cell. So chromosomes, hereditary material. Nucleolus, they are one or more rounded shaped structures present inside the nucleus. Functions: they produce ribosomes inside the cytoplasm, nucleoplasm, participate in protein synthesis by formation of forming and storing of RNAs, dictates ribosome to synthesize proteins. So these are some of the important functions of nucleolus. There will be one or two bodies inside the nucleus depending upon the function. Chromatin fibers, by means of their structure, a fine thread-like network in the resting stage of the nucleus. Resting stage means when the cell is not about to divide. So a fine thread-like network in the resting stage of a nucleus which condenses into chromosomes during cell division. Chromatin fibers made up of DNA threads and some proteins. Chromatin fibers are made up of DNA and protein. Do you know the name of the protein which is associated with the DNA? Yes, it is histone protein. Function of chromosomes, it is to carry genes which are carrier of hereditary information from parent to the offspring during the cell division. And the last two parts, that is vacuoles and granules. Vacuoles, these are clear spaces with the water or other substance in the form of solution. Plant cells have few but larger vacuoles, while animal cells have smaller one. Vacuoles covered by covering called tonoplast. You know that plant cells show presence of large vacuole, and it serves as a reservoir for the various organic and inorganic materials. And the external covering or the membrane of the vacuole is known as tonoplast. Storage of water and other substances like food, pigments, and waste product of a plant cell. Give turgidity to the plant cell by pressing against cell wall. So it is filled with water, and the turgidity of the vacuole itself is responsible for the turgidity of a cell by maintaining some kind of pressure, turgid pressure. Contain pigments like anthocyanin, violet blue colored structures. Granules, these are small particles in the form of crystals or droplets scattered in the cytoplasm of a cell. In case of plant cells, they are going to store starch, or the starch bodies are nothing but a kind of granules, and glycogen in animal cell, and fat droplets which serve as a food for the cell. That's it. So we're going to stop over here, and see you soon in the next lecture.